Does anybody really hear God? Do we? Do we really hear Him? Maybe not in an audible voice, but you knew God was speaking. Has anyone heard God and they did not want to respond? They pretended not to hear or thought if they just waited long enough, the voice will go away. I've done that. I remember Bible school. I remember studying to become a pastor. I was going to tell people about Jesus. It was during the break between classes when I went to get a bite to eat. I was by myself. I hated eating alone. It was then that it happened, right before I took my first bite. In walks this big, tall man. He caught my attention. I thought that it was strange that he didn't order anything. He just walked to the corner of the restaurant and sat down at a table by himself. And he laid his head down and he went to sleep. I remember starting to eat. And I heard the voice. I heard the Lord say to me, "Go talk to him." It wasn't an audible voice, but I clearly heard it. I remember saying to myself, no, I've got to get back to Bible school. I can't go talk to him. I remember eating a little faster. Yeah, I finished lunch quickly. I didn't even hardly enjoy it. Grabbed my tray. I began to throw my trash away. I heard God say it again. I want you to go talk to him. No. Besides, he's sleeping. And I really have to get back to Bible school. I remember pushing on the door to leave. And I heard it again. Go, talk to him. I said, Lord, if I turn around and if he wakes up, I'll talk to him. Right at that moment I turned and he jerked in his sleep and he looked directly at me. I was stuck. I had to talk to him now. I remember walking directly over to this man in the corner. I said, I'm trying to leave this place and God told me that he wanted me to come and talk with you. Do you know why? Oh, man. He started to cry. He said, you're the third person of the day that's told me that. Then he invited me to sit down and he told me he had become a Satanist. He said he was tired of running from God. He recommitted his life to Jesus that day. I never saw him again, but I've often thought about that day. I've thought about what I almost missed. Does anybody ever really hear God? I have. More than a decade after hearing the voice, I was standing in the lobby at work when this woman walked in the door. She walked directly over to me. She handed me her business card and said that you have a ministry in Brazil. And she prayed for me. And then she left. Oh, I thought this was strange. Brazil? I've never had a sense of ministering in Brazil. I took her card and placed it on my desk and went back to work, not thinking much about it. Does anybody ever really hear God? I was speaking at a retreat when I thought I should tell the story about hearing the voice while I was in Bible school. I told the story, and I had a woman come up to me and tell me that she thought that that man that I met was her nephew in Brazil. So she emailed her nephew, and he wrote her back and told her about that day being a turning point in his life. I had a ministry in Brazil. I wonder how many people I meet in a day. What kind of impact could one moment make? What if each one of us throughout the week really listened? What if we heard God speak? I believe that God is speaking all of the time. I believe if I listen, I'll hear him.
Voices whispering within the shadow